Today is December 13th, 2021, and 8 years ago, my life was radically changed. I didn't grow up in a Christian home, so we didn't talk about Christianity, we didn't talk about God, but I still felt very loved by my family, and I was successful in academics and sports in plenty of areas, but there was something big that was missing. I just really struggled with my identity, and it's not that I had no identity, it was that I was everyone for everybody else. When I was around the other cheerleaders, I was this peppy, energetic, fun, extroverted cheerleader. When I was in the classroom, I was a studious, hardworking student. I was just had no idea what authenticity looked like. Ultimately, as I went through high school, I just put my hope in my own abilities. I put my hope in the fact that I was a good cheerleader, that I was a good student, that I was a good daughter, that I had lots of friends, and that I felt loved in those ways. Until one day when I realized that just wasn't enough. During my senior year of high school, on December 13th, I was going to class on a normal Friday, and I was in my English lit class, and there was a series of shots that we heard down the hallway. Turns out a fellow student had walked into the school, shot another student, attempted to shoot several others, and then ended up killing himself. I remember sitting in the classroom for hours and feeling terrified, trying to find my phone so I could text my family members that I loved them and that I didn't know what was going on. And I realized that my own ability in that moment was nothing. I had no control over the situation. I had nothing to put my hope into. I was just scared and fearful, and I didn't know if we were going to make it out of the school. It's truly a moment I will never forget, just feeling helpless and hopeless. And the weeks that followed were a complete 180 of the life that I thought I knew. I had never felt as strong of a community as I did in those weeks that followed the shooting. There was candlelight vigils, there was events where people were able to gather, and my boyfriend at the time, John, who's now my husband, and his friend ended up organizing a prayer gathering through Facebook. They invited, a handful of people, like 20, maybe 30 fellow students, and just said, hey, we're gonna meet at the school the week after the shooting, and we're just gonna pray, and we're just gonna offer support for the community. I didn't believe there was a God. I was still feeling hopeless. I was still feeling helpless. But I showed up along with several thousand other people. And I remember thinking to myself, this isn't normal. Like, there's got to be something bigger that is giving these people this hope that I just didn't have, this ability to smile and hug one another and pray for one another. And I was like, I want that. I don't want to be scared anymore. And that day, John told me this little quote, and I think he just made it up, but he said, never doubt in the dark what you know in the light. And I remember that quote resonating with me, but I also realized I didn't even know what I was supposed to know in the light. And so that day at the prayer gathering, I sat with groups of students and prayed and asked, who are you praying to? What is this about? What do you believe? And they said, Jesus. He is my hope. And I was like, well, I want that hope. And throughout the weeks following that and learning more about who Jesus was, I knew that I wanted Jesus to be my hope. And it didn't take me long to realize that the name of Jesus has the power to overcome any circumstance and gave me hope in every circumstance. God showed me that back when I felt like I had to be for everyone, for everybody else, that was just inauthentic. And simply put, I am a daughter of Christ, and that is my identity. And I learned that being authentic doesn't mean putting on a face for everyone I see, but just being honest with myself and what I'm going through and letting God meet me in that space. So now when I think about that quote, never doubt in the dark what you know in the light. I know that Christ is the light, and that putting my faith in him is what I never have to doubt. God truly brought me from hopelessness to a hope-filled life, and from inauthenticity to knowing I'm loved by Christ, and that is authentic in the relationship that we have. If you're in a spot where you're feeling hopeless, I would encourage you to take a look at your life and ask yourself what you're putting your hope in and what you're putting your identity in, and know that there's a God that can take you from hopeless to hope-filled, because he's done it for me, and he's done it for countless others, and I know that he'll do it for you.